Hari Om all. I'm Anurag. Today I'll be presenting on Bhagavad Gita, what it means to me. This is in conclusion to the Jnana Jyoti course which we went through under the guidance of Prabhuji, Vaniji and Vasudevji. And I would like to start my presentation with a prayer. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat, Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri, Guruve Namaha. Bhagavad Gita. We all have heard about Bhagavad Gita many times, but this is something my understanding which I will be sharing with you in a gist of my presentation and what it means to me. Bhagavad Gita is one part of Mahabharata, a sacred scripture consisting of 18 chapters and ancient history and one of the oldest known epics of Hinduism. So Bhagavad Gita is one part, like as I mentioned, is a conversation between Lord Krishna and Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. A little bit of summary of Bhagavad Gita is like, it takes place right before the battle between Pandavas and Kauravas who are fighting over the throne for the of Hastinapur for inheritance. Arjuna, one of the brothers of Pandavas, contemplates in his mind the pros and cons of the war, the outcome, what will happen. He's conflicted, nervous, and confused of the entire process of the war at this point. He's feeling like, disturbed because he doesn't want to fight against his family members, relatives, loved ones, or guru, teacher, and all. So in this confusion, he surrenders to Lord Krishna to seek the guidance, who is an incarnation of God Vishnu, imparts a divine wisdom to Arjuna, revealing the profound truths about life, duty, and the nature of self. Krishna begins by explaining the eternal nature of the soul, teaching Arjuna that the body is temporary, but the soul is eternal. Krishna emphasizes the importance of fulfilling one's duty without attachment to the results, encouraging Arjuna to fight for what is right and just. And Lord Krishna even points out the immortal nature of the soul and explains to him that death is comparable to the old garments, like discarding old garments and wearing a new ones. So death is therefore not a matter of grief. It is a part of change which is universal and inevitable. So throughout this conversation, Krishna addresses various aspects of life, such as control of mind and senses, nature of self, desire, and the nature of desire and attachment, the importance of self-discipline, mind and senses one need to overcome the ego or ignorance. He teaches Arjuna the art of maintaining equanimity in success and failure, pleasure and pain, and various dualities of life. And Krishna also reveals his divine form to Arjuna, the cosmic form, showing his cosmic universal nature. This vision leaves Arjuna in awe and deep reverence for the divine. Arjuna recognizes the importance of surrendering his will to the divine, Krishna, and carries out his actions with a sense of detachment and devotion. In the end, Arjuna accepts Krishna's teaching and resolves to fulfill his duty as a warrior and fight for Dharma. Also emerges as an enlightened being in his understanding of life, purpose of life, and the true nature of self. So this is an overall summary of Bhagavad Gita, what I'm sharing over here. But again, my presentation is based on what Bhagavad Gita means to me. So I'll be covering a little bit of agenda for today's presentation, what Bhagavad Gita means, what is the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, essence of Upanishad, teachings of Upanishad, teachings of Bhagavad Gita, to me, and conclusion. So, what is the meaning of Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita means Song of God. As we listen to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, the Song of God, our mind will become peaceful, right? Bhagavad Gita is Advaita Amrita Varshini, and it means a song of duality. When we connect to God, we find peace within us. Connection to God is called yoga. Bhagavad Gita is about connecting to God, is yoga, and merging with God is called Advaita. Bhagavad Gita is a Brahma Vidya and a Yoga Shastra. So, all through Bhagavad Gita, we hear the teachings about Yoga Shastra, how to lead the life, and it emphasizes on Brahmagyan, the understanding of self, and its connection to Supreme Conscious Brahman. So this is what it means, Bhagavad Gita. The next thing, as I mentioned, Bhagavad Gita, there is the essence of Upanishad, and this is how I can, I'm trying to connect on it when what Prabhuji has shared with us. As we listen to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, it gives us the essence of Upanishad, and we might think, how is that possible? Like, comparison is important. In Kathopanishad, it gives a beautiful and a valuable concept of human life as how one should live by comparing the human body to a chariot or a vehicle. So the same comparison is made with Arjuna's chariot and Krishna as charioteer in Kurukshetra battlefield. This concept of considering one's body as vehicle or chariot is very helpful to guide us or guide me or you through the journey of life. As we are seeing in this slide, the components of the chariot and comparable counterparts of the human body. Like, human body is a chariot, individual jiva, that is the passenger, Arjuna or me, intelligence, charioteer, Krishna, mind, intellect, 5 senses are the horses, what we possess in the human body. The world is experienced by the senses, are the tracks on which the horse tread, and the mind is the reins. The individual self is associated with the senses, and the mind is the enjoyer. So overall, if you see this as in the picture, only when the horses are reined in, when the journey goes on smoothly without any problems, the chariot will carry the jiva or the self or me to the desired destination. Let's say if I want to go from point A to point B, I know my GPS, I know my directions, I will go correctly because it's guiding me, the GPS is guiding me. Similarly, so for successful running of chariot, all the relevant reins and activities should be controlled. Mind must be controlled by the intellect, sense organ must be controlled by the disciplined mind. The mind should be disciplined. For example, like, if the mind is not controlled, senses are not controlled, it will go astray. Like as I mentioned, for example, when I want to follow a strict diet or refrain myself from eating sweets, I will make up my mind saying that I will not eat sweets, I will follow a strict diet. The moment I see sweets, my senses are like, okay, I can have a sweet. My mind will say, it's okay, you can break your diet, you can eat your sweet. And that's how it happens. Like, we don't have control on our senses and control on our mind. After eating, at that point of time, we would feel good, but after eating, we'll feel miserable. Similarly, most of the situations when our mind and senses are not controlled, we will feel bad later on. But if the same mind and senses are controlled and disciplined, everything what we do would be good. So similarly, Krishna addresses various aspects of life, such as control of mind, senses, the nature of desire and attachment, the importance of self-discipline, and the need to overcome ego and ignorance. He teaches Arjuna the art of maintaining equanimity in success and failure, pleasure and pain, and various dualities of life. So, intellect should be clear to guide me or anyone and use this body as a chariot or a vehicle. And here, Krishna is the intellect for Arjuna, guiding him through the process of in the war. And for me, how do we bring Krishna in our life is to follow the Bhagavad Gita teachings and implement and follow in our day-to-day life. So it brings us peace, happiness, and success. Bhagavad Gita is a Brahma Vidya, a yoga shastra. Krishna speaks on different paths of yoga, which is Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Kriya Yoga. He explains all of these paths to lead to the same goal of self-realization and union with divine. For me, again, as I mentioned, how Bhagavad Gita is, what it means to me. Bhagavad Gita's teaching has a great guidance, has been a great guidance for me. Personally, when I check my actions, thought, words, and deeds, it keeps me aligned to the teachings constantly in every walk of my life. Just do your duty and offer it to Krishna. When I surrendered my will to divine Krishna and do my duty as with dharma and with no attachment to the results as a selfless service, it will always bring it always brings success and a kind of a peace in within me, which is one of the greatest teaching of Bhagavad Gita. So using this body as a vehicle or chariot with controlled mind and senses to those actions, what I do in my day-to-day life according to dharma makes me grow spiritually and to get closer to the path of liberation and mukti. So Bhagavad Gita is a Brahma Vidya Yoga Shastra. Bhagavad Gita serves as a guide for me for seeking spiritual growth. Another aspect of Bhagavad Gita we learn, it tells us about the phrase Tattvamasi, which comes from the Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. Tattvamasi is the Mahavakya in Sanskrit that translates that you are that, thou art that. It is a profound statement that represents the essence of Advaita Vedanta. Though Tattvamasi is not specifically mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, but the teachings of Gita aligns with the philosophy of self, Jivatma, Brahman, Paramatma, are ultimately one, and the realization of this oneness leads to spiritual liberation and ultimate union with Brahman. As Brahman, underlies in all creation, is inherent within everyone, animate and inanimate beings, Bhagavad Gita emphasizes the understanding of true nature of self, the eternal soul, and its connection to supreme consciousness. Bhagavad Gita teaches the self is not perishable, but the body is perishable. Self is immortal soul. And through self-realization, one can recognize the divine nature with oneself, and in all beings, it is the same underlying of Brahman. Some wonder how Jiva and Ishvara can be one, and many are confused. In philosophical teachings of Advaita, individual soul, Jiva, Jagat, the world, Ishvara, supreme divine, is the central part. According to this perspective, if all three aspects are ultimately manifestation of the same underlying reality, Brahman, or the absolute. In Advaita Vedanta, what happens is the individual soul and the supreme divine are not separate entities, but rather different expressions of the same reality. the individual soul is a microcosm and the Brahman is the macrocosm, possessing the same potential to realize Brahman. Unity of Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara is called Advaita, and it's the same concept of non-duality. So, there is ultimately no inherent separation between individual soul, world, Jagat, and Supreme Brahman. We see that the surface level in this illusion that we'll consider as a human world, Jiva, individual self, and Jagat and Ishvara are different. Like Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara are different, and it is called duality. In Advaita, it is all same. It has the same underlying Brahman, but due to illusion and due to Maya, we forget temporarily that oneness, because we always consider it as separate. So from the perspective of Advaita Vedanta, the world is not seen as separate. It is the same, but expression of the same Brahman, the creative power. So we are one, that is Tattvamasi. Like in Lord Krishna as explained in Bhagavad Gita, individual soul and the Supreme Soul are one. So in Bhagavad Gita chapter 1 to 6, it is about Tvam, Jiva, you. So chapter 7 to 12, it is about Bhagwan, Ishvara, Krishna. And chapter 13 to 18, it is about Asi, equation. Jiva and Paramatma are one. It is about that. So Bhagavad Gita is connected in a way with Tattvamasi Mahavakya of Chandogya Upanishad. So when we lead our life in a dharmic way, our feeling of separation is dropped. With Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga, selfless service, which is the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we don't feel anyone is separate from us. The world and everyone is same. And this blessing of Ishvara of knowing Tattvamasi comes from Guru, and Guru's teachings of Atmajyoti, that is Tattvamasi, or from Upanishad or Bhagavad Gita, helps us to understand, go deep inside us to recognize Jivatma and Paramatma are one. Ishvara, my Guru, my Atma are one. That realization is called Advaita, non-dual. Ishvara, my Guru, my Atma are one. That realization is called Advaita. That Advaita Jnana of oneness is Mukti or liberation. It is the recognition that the individual soul, the world, and the supreme divine are all expression of the same ultimate Brahman. That realization of oneness, or the realization of oneness, is known as self-realization or enlightenment. So mukti is when you are alive, when you realize that transcending the illusion of individuality and recognizing the underlying unity of all existing Brahman. Atmana mokshartha jagathitaya cha, one should work for mukti internally. And Jagat Hitaya Cha, do dharma and selfless service externally to the society as a result of inner and outer realization, which brings success and peace. Bhagavad Gita is, as I mentioned in the sharings, Brahma Vidya, a Yoga Shastra. Bhagavad Gita teaches us about Yoga Shastra, how to lead a dharmic life, strive for Atmajnana, as it emphasizes the understanding of the true nature of the self and eternal soul and its connection to the supreme consciousness Brahman. So, what Bhagavad Gita means to me or individual? This Bhagavad Gita offers a profound guidance and teachings, and these teachings how it helps me to grow spiritually and to get self-realization. Here are some of the key aspects which Bhagavad Gita, what I learned, what that can be applied into my day-to-day activities for a better society, or some key morals that can be drawn, has helped me a lot. So the first thing is self-realization. Bhagavad Gita teaches me or any individual to realize the true nature of self, which is beyond this temporary and ever-changing physical world, body, mind, and it encourages self-reflection, introspection, and the quest for self-knowledge. Detachment. Bhagavad Gita emphasizes the importance of detachment from the fruits of action. It encourages individuals to perform their duties without getting attached to the outcomes. That's the main bottom line, don't expect the result or don't expect the fruit, just do your duty. It's promoting a sense of equanimity and sense of inner peace, and it encourages the individuals to focus on the process and the effort rather than driven by the results or the desire or the outcomes and everything. Yoga and meditation. Bhagavad Gita introduces to the various parts of yoga like karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, kriya yoga. It advocates the practice of yoga, meditation, to calm the mind and gain self-awareness and establish that connection with Brahman. Dharma. Bhagavad Gita highlights the significance of fulfilling one's responsibilities and duties with sincerity and integrity. Do what is right, not just what gives you pleasure. It encourages individuals to act in accordance with the true nature and purpose in life. It teaches that everyone has a unique roles and responsibilities to do in this world or in this life by performing them with due diligence and selfless service. And one can contribute to the betterment in life, both in this world and the other world. Ethics and morality. Bhagavad Gita emphasizes the importance of leading a righteous life. Society can benefit from these teachings by promoting ethical behavior, integrity, and moral values. This can help one to create a more just and ethical society. Education and knowledge. Bhagavad Gita encourages the pursuit of knowledge and self-realization. Society can benefit by promoting the education, not only focusing on the academic learning, but also emphasizes on the holistic development of the individual, including learning like moral values, character, spiritual growth, by introducing in the curriculum education, like Prabhuji's Bhagavad Gita has been adopted in the universities. Seek knowledge and self-realization. Seek knowledge and self-realization imparts the personal development, a quest for higher truths, and seeking knowledge for self-realization, self-reflection, introspection, and pursuit of the spiritual growth. Overcoming challenges. Bhagavad Gita teaches individuals to face challenges and adversities with courage, resilience, and positive mindset. It provides guidance on how to overcome obstacles, deal with conflicts, and make a wise decision with an equanimity state of mind. Conflict resolution. Gita offers insight on resolving conflict with wisdom, understanding. The teachings can be applied by promoting dialogue, peaceful negotiations, and finding common ground to resolve conflicts, build harmonious relationship. Selfless service. Gita emphasizes on the importance of selfless service. Do your duty and don't expect for the result. Just do your duty towards others. It encourages individuals to contribute to the well-being of the society and practice with compassion, kindness, and generosity. Society can benefit from Bhagavad Gita teaching by fostering a culture of compassion, empathy, and social responsibility, encouraging acts of kindness charity, volunteering can help create a more caring and supporting society, a disciplined mind and control of senses. Gita teaches individuals to master their minds and control their senses. It emphasizes the importance of disciplining mind, overcoming desires, distraction, focusing on the present moment, cultivating a calm, focused mind, cultivating an inner peace of equanimity, and making wise decisions based on the clarity and self-awareness. Mindfulness of well-being. Gita, again, teaches the importance of mindfulness, self-awareness, and inner peace. Society can benefit by promoting practice such as meditation, yoga, mindfulness techniques that contribute to the well-being and mental health of individuals. Devotion and surrender. Bhagavad Gita teaches individuals to develop devotion towards higher power of divine Brahma. It encourages surrendering to the divine will and trusting in a higher power to guide and protect. That's what that's what Arjuna did. He surrendered completely. Balance and harmony. Gita emphasizes the importance of finding balance and harmony in all aspects of life. It encourages individuals to maintain balanced approach towards work, relationship, health, and spirituality. It encourages society to embrace diversity, equity, inclusion, and respect different perspectives and work towards unity and cooperation. So, justice and fair. Gita promotes a moral principle of justice and fairness. It teaches individuals to act with kindness, integrity, honesty, and fairness in all aspects of life in performing your duty as per dharma. So these are some of the things what I felt I can relate to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. These can be applied, and these many, if one can incorporate into day-to-day life, as I try to incorporate in most of the things, that gives me a kind of fulfillment and do my work and in my spiritual growth that will really help me and seek more guidance towards my growth. Bhagavad Gita, again, in a conclusion, I would say Bhagavad Gita teachings concludes with Arjuna's transformation. Similarly, our transformation is important. Arjuna's doubt got clarified and his mind filled with clarity, determination, and spiritual insight. Arjuna emerges as a warrior. He emerged as a warrior who was not only skilled in his battle, but he also got enlightened in his understanding the life's purpose and the true nature of self with Krishna's guidance. Similarly, Krishna should guide us in every walk of life, or guide me also in every walk of my life. Brahma Vidya Yoga Shastra. Bhagavad Gita serves as a guide for me for seeking spiritual growth, self-realization, and the path to live life's purpose and fulfilling life. I'm constantly reminded with Bhagavad Gita's teachings are meant to be applied practically in day-to-day activities. It offers like timeless wisdom that can be applied in various aspects of life, inspiring me constantly to live life with integrity, compassion, selfless service, deep understanding of interconnectedness to all beings, that Advaita is there or Tattvamasi is there all the time. Teachings of Bhagavad Gita can contribute to overall well-being and progress of the society. So Bhagavad Gita's teachings, for me, I apply every moment in all walks of my life, and it has benefited me immensely. Thank you. Hari Om.